ladies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Everyone, hope you're having a magnificent day, week, whatever it is you're catching up on this. My name is Matt, and this is a Vic Acres Wonderland, joined as always by the magnificent Lottie. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. It's Friday. Well, the time of this recording of this pod, of course. But yeah, I'm just happy it's Friday. Through to the semi-finals. First team to come back since Arsenal did it. From a 2-0 down in a semi-final, which was, I believe the other team was Torres.
Yes.
So we've done it, and then Chelsea thought they'd do the same bloody thing as well. But it's okay, we move. We've got Lyon in the next round. Dates is still not confirmed, it's the last 2 weeks of April. So we move.
Yeah.
How are you, by the way?
I'm good. It was just for those that think it's going to be a nice idea to go by coach on the way home. Please don't, because you end up in some really weird.
If you live in the north of England,
yes,
and you're coming down to London. Let's just take note on that.
You do end up in some really weird places. The destinations went from Victoria to Heathrow to Oxford and then stopping at Birmingham, and then decided to go Chester. And luckily, I was off on the next stop before I got to Liverpool. But it's still a long journey, and especially when you got work the next as well. And just as well, I didn't put myself in to do early morning, because I don't think I would have been fit for it. But apart from that, it was a really good night, and I think we all enjoyed ourselves. But let's just quickly talk about some of the news items. So, as you mentioned, semi-final against Lyon. There is a early bird special, which is £16 for adults, £8 for children. So that is probably
finished at 5 o'clock today.
Oh, did it finish at 5 o'clock?
It was only till 5 o'clock today.
Oh dear, 5 o'clock today. Oh.
But guys, if you are traveling in a group of 6 or more, make sure you use the group 6 code. It will give you a discount off it if there's 6 or more of you.
So we're probably looking at
So use the group code. It's something like 10-15% off. If you're traveling as a group of 6 or more. So guys, if you are coming to join us at the Emirates, use that group code, because the early bird is now finished.
That's my bad. So it's probably
Arsenal. You need to get us some sponsorship here.
It's so let's say it'll probably be about £20 for an adult and £10 for children. So
it goes up to 17.65.
Okay.
And so then it's the booking fee on top, it's about £19.70 for adults.
It's still cheaper than trying to get a men's ticket, shall we say, for a Premier League
game. Can we
game.
not talk about that? Because I just paid a lot of money for my Real Madrid ticket.
Yes.
Ironically, yes. Real Madrid.
Yes, as you've also mentioned, Lottie, the game is to be confirmed on the 19th or 20th of April. That'll be the home leg. It's great that they're doing it this early, but I think with the international break going on, I don't think we'll get an actual date for that yet.
To be honest with you, I'd rather have the home leg second.
I think I would, like Wolfsburg, having Wolfsburg away last time. I think that worked out well.
I just it doesn't matter whose game it is, men's or women's. I just like the second leg to be at home.
Yeah.
And I'm not very happy. I'm still going to like, don't get me wrong. But I'm just not happy about it.
It's just.
But it does mean I don't spend more money on Easter weekend being in another country.
It's a small advantage, though. That's the main thing, isn't it? And
yeah, I know. But the thing is, if we let's just say, touch wood, we battered them at the Emirates. Batter them.
Yeah.
There's always that comeback on us.
Yeah.
Because they're on home ground. So, but I'm not too worried about it if it does happen because we won there 5-0 before. So,
5-1.
5-1, sorry.
Yeah.
5-1.
There was that one goal. I think it was Ada
just-
Hegerberg that scored their only goal in the game.
Yes, that's it. Do you know what I don't remember? Do you know why I don't remember that one? Too busy enjoying Caitlin Ford and what's her name's been massive mistake. She's the big tall centre back.
Oh, Renard.
Wendy Renard's mistake, passing it to Caitlin Ford. Best goal of the game. I'll never forget that.
Well, we should also quickly mention that through Tom Gary, that the FA's proposal to expand the tiers 3 to 6, that would involve basically the WSL having B teams, which is a bit similar to what happens in Spain. You have the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid have C, B, and then Castilla, or there's another word that they'll use just to basically say, here's our under 23s, for example, they're going to play in the championship, but it'll be lower down. So for us, it'd be a
bit like the academy boys. They play the Premier League B, basically.
Yeah. So that's just basically been blocked. So those that are in the FA Women's National Leagues, the likes of, I would say Bournemouth, but Bournemouth have actually just gotten promoted. So it'll be those types of teams that have a Premier League team. I'm trying to think of one at the top of my head, like Ipswich Town, for example, that they would be playing against, say, an Arsenal team. But it'll be an Arsenal team that probably most likely be in under 23s. That was the idea. Not going to happen, but I think it's at a cost because of how the pyramid is at the moment. There always seems to be a league with less teams than the others, so it's a bit complicated.
It's because it gets complicated when there's less teams to kind of pick from. You want to build on this, but there's still clubs that don't invest in their women's team. I am going to call up, let's go with Bristol City, for example. The owners there don't invest in either team, men's or women's. Although both teams exist, the women are doing very well again this season. So they might be they're in for a yo-yo to come back up, aren't they? At the moment.
Then they can't get promoted this season because I think they drew to Birmingham City.
Okay, so they dropped points there. I haven't looked at the championship in a little bit, so I do apologise about that. I know our other experts sitting on this very podcast will know what he's talking about, unlike me.
That's because I do every Sunday. I do a roundup of the championship in the WSL, so I've got to make sure that I know. I find the results out.
That's why I always double check everything with you. I don't keep up half the time because there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
I don't have enough screen to watch all these games.
Yeah.
Next
season it'll be even more worse because you'll have the championship that will have games on the YouTube as well, not just the one anymore. It'll be 4 or 5 of those are on the go. But so
it's good for the championship though. And that
it's good exposure.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean the Newcastle derby. I mean that was brilliant. I watched about half an hour of that. It was a bit stalemate in the first 30 minutes. So.
Well, the Lioness squad has also been picked. Not many surprises, shall we say. Mary Ertz, Hannah Hampton, Kiara Keating, and Anna Morehouse as the goalkeepers. Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Jess Carter, Neve Charles, Maya Letitia, Esme Morgan, Lucy Parker, Millie Turner, and Leah Williamson as the defence. Great.
Didn't Maisie Simmons get a call up?
I was just about to roll off the midfielders.
Sorry, I thought she did Darren. Sorry, ignore me.
Grace Clinton, Frank Kirby returns. Jess Park, Maisie Simmons. It's her first call up, as you've mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see how she adapts. Whether or not she gets minutes is another thing.
That is a completely different story. I'm really quite excited for her first call up. She's been brilliant at Brighton this season. Brighton released a lovely little nugget over the socials when she told Keats. And Keats almost knocked her over. Excitement. So I'm well pleased. It's also nice to see more players called out called up. That's not Arsenal. That's not Chelsea.
Yeah.
Not Man United. It's not Man City. That's a different team. I quite enjoy that. I was even pleased with Jess Naz at the time as well.
Mm.
Although I'm not a big fan of Jess Naz, like nothing to do with the club she plays for, but it was someone different.
Yeah.
To integrate in, and I'm kind of glad Serena's looking to other teams that are performing well this season.
Well, it's the fact that she's 22, so she would have been most likely with the under 23s. So I'm just wondering if something's been said to say, look, she's had a really good setup with the under 23s, and they think that she's ready. Maybe that's one of the reasons why she's in above. I'm trying to think of someone that's usually in there. Probably let's just say Katie Zem, for example, who's been yo-yoing, and it still shows there's spots available. Ella Toon and Kira Walsh are also there as well in the midfield,
as expected.
But the forward line is picking themselves at the moment. Aggie Beaver-Jones, Lauren James, Chloe Kelly, Beth Mead, Nikita Paris, and Alessia Russo.
Yeah, no, front line is already written, so to speak. There was obviously question marks over Chloe for a while because of her minutes, but we don't have to fear losing Chloe in the Champions League now, which is great because Man City are no longer in it. So no, she's just been absolutely thriving. Like she's lost that high ponytail and replaced it for a bun. She looks good. She looks really, really, really good. She looks a lot happier as well. She's like finding her spark back for football, I feel.
Yeah.
Especially during this Champions League game. I noticed a massive difference.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
We will. And just lastly, there is a petition going around on change.org, focus on Vic Acres to make sure that he gets the acknowledgement that he deserves. From myself, being a former Women's Supporters Club board member, I was on the pitch when he got an honourable member. They got a little badge for him, and that was really special to do that on the pitch side against Chelsea a couple of seasons ago. But there is that understanding that maybe he's not got that acknowledgement from say the National Football Museum or somewhere else along the lines to recognise what he's done in women's football in terms of what he's done and what his accomplishments are.
Oh, sorry. I'm having technical issues. Sorry. No, I think for me personally, I love the idea of giving that recognition, but what recognition would you like? For me personally, because he's done the quadruple, he's won the Champions League, why is there not a statue of him next to Arsene Wenger? That from Arsenal, because they celebrate our history as much as the men's. It's getting better. We've got the mural up the side with the Champions League trophy. Where is Vic?
That's true. And just on top of that as well is that if you go back on, there was talk about the statues when a couple of seasons ago, Viv had that statue that was able to be rolled in and around. Yes, and there hasn't been another statue since, and especially now that Viv's gone. So I don't know we don't know what that's probably somewhere in storage, probably hiding around somewhere. But
they're probably going to spray it light blue. To be fair,
would it be nice to see maybe another player be put on there? Maybe not I'm trying to think at the top of my head, like a Fei Wai or someone else.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
it's like
would be, but it would also. Football started before we won the Euros in 2021.
Yeah.
It would have to be someone that everyone knows, and then the appreciation can be there, and people can be educated. I know I've said this like a million times before. Like when I was growing up, obviously Vic was in charge and he was winning the trophies and all, etc., etc. the only names that really come to mind when like the names that you hear from me is the Faye Whites, it's the Rachel Yankees, it's the Kelly Smiths, there's Alex Scotts. There's a lot of names that didn't get that far into the line, into the I don't want to say limelight, into the spotlight when hardly there was fans, but it wasn't as fans as it is now. So you'd have to pick someone very carefully, and for me, if you're going to pick anybody, it's going to have to be Kelly Smith.
Okay.
I really want to say Rachel Yankee right now because I'm just a super fan, but that's what my heart's telling me, and it's just logically it's Kelly Smith because she's still in and around the club.
Yeah.
And she's been a part of Arsenal for as long as we can all remember, even though she's gone and come back a few times.
Even if you say have a statue of, say, Alex Scott with that shot that won the Champions League or the UEFA Cup as it was known at the time, I think that would probably give people something else to talk about and as well. But there are going to be, I think this is one of the things that probably needs to be talked about further down the line. It's not just one person that makes a team successful, it's a whole team.
But I think if it was Vic, it's an acknowledgement of the history of the Arsenal. We celebrate. The club talks about how we're all one club, one fan base, etc., etc. And to a certain extent, I do believe that. But instances like the Bayern Munich game made me look at it a bit wider. Because the men's will always take priority because they're easy sellouts every single game without fail. Women's whereas our quarter final the other night was 22,000.
Yeah,
that was just the lower tier, and that was a quarter final, but it was also a Wednesday night. So that, considering maybe 2 years ago, they were only reaching about 7,000 people, and that was a record. You can just see how much the game has grown. But there's still a lot of work to do because you say Tuesday, for example, when the men play Fulham, that's going to be a 50,000 plus, and it's Fulham. Well,
you do bring up a good point because I'm glad you mentioned it now. The attendance broke the previous record, which was another game that you were at, the home game against Barcelona. Bayern Munich. So
yes.
Again, another game where Arsenal were travelling behind and got the win.
No, exactly. And the thing is, it's games like that, and that even if it's your first game, it will bring you back again and again and again because it's for me. But oh god, I'm going back to me again. Like when you've got your first couple of wins, and I tell you what, the first 2 games, as you know, Matt, that I went as women's games, we lost. I saw 0 goals scored from Arsenal. Up until that point, which ironically a couple of weeks ago would have been 3 years exactly to the day since Lotta and Tobin Heath scored that goal. Did she mean it? We'll never know. But it got to the point where I was just like, I'm going to give up. I just need someone to score. And I was sitting up in the fancy seats, as I call them, on club level with Adam, and he said to me, if we don't score in this second half, you'll never come into a game again. I was like, thanks. So, and it is disheartening, and I think this season we've had my friend's daughter with us. She's only 9, bless her. Her first 2 games, her first game was Chelsea, Jonas's last game, and then she had to wait till Brighton for an actual win. But she kept coming because it was just it's an experience like no other. Going to a football game, not everyone has the same experience, but it's how you feel about the game determines the experience.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing as well. Is that this was my 3rd Champions League game. The other 2 were Bayern Munich away and the Wolfsburg semi-final. So, and walking away from Bayern Munich with a 1-0, you go, okay, fair enough. It was a really good game. It was really end to end, and I wasn't really sad that or disappointed that we'd lost. It was just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and Guy actually made a really good last minute sliding challenge to hook the ball off the line before it was given as a goal that night. And then obviously,
let's not talk about that. I can still argue over that. I've not forgotten it.
Obviously, the home game at the Emirates against Wolfsburg, we all knew that it was a really special good game, and it felt really weird to sit there and go, and you just lost in extra time against Wolfsburg, but you just didn't want to leave the stadium because of almost like happy memories sort of thing, but sadness at the end of it. Last night
with that game, they fought and they fought and they fought and they fought,
Mm.
and they didn't give up. And that's the games you love to go to.
Mm.
And the most recent one, obviously, is West Ham. 2-0 down in 12 minutes. We come back and beat them 4-3. It shows character and determination, and you want to play for the fans. Like it's a bit like that saying, play for the shirt and the fans will remember the name on the back.
Well, that is true, and with Leon coming, the home fan, they will need as many home fans in there, so it could be possibly another record-setting
weekend games. So there'll be a lot more families out, hopefully, with some luck. I've just bought 20 tickets, so.
Well, we should probably talk about the game itself before we talk about the weekend's action. In the first half, actually, I'll start with the team news. So, Daphne von Donselaar started in goal, coming back from a concussion, which was great news. Katie McCabe, Steph Catley, Leah Williamson, and Emily Fox. Mariona and Kim Little as the double pivot, with Frida and Harson Mornham as the attacking midfielder, Caitlin Ford, Alessia Russo, and Chloe Kelly. I think that was almost a record night. Everyone sort of thought that was going to be the team. I'd probably say
That is our strongest 11 for me personally. I know I talk about Kyra all the time and things like that, but in these kind of games, you automatically put Kim Little down. I know there's been questions over her fitness and her age and everything else, but the last couple of Champions League games, I am enjoying my very delicious sweet apple pie. That is very, very humble, because she's reminded us why she's in this team and why we love her.
Well, there was I've made a few question marks this season over Frida Marnham. Let's just say that watching it back, because first time you don't really recognise the contribution, but especially on the highlights, she actually makes a couple of very important passes before the goals. So, yeah, I will be
in that game. I think kind of dropping Mariona back a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Mariona was going to be the attacking midfielder. It would make more sense for me because she needs to be playing those passes, but it worked, and that at the end of the day,
because we were on our own turf, and we've got so comfortable playing there. It's like going to Meadow Park, no problem. This is our home ground. You're not going to win, and that was very much the attitude on Wednesday night.
40 that first half. Shall we just say how it was? I think I ended up calling it tedious to pretty much everyone around us, because it really was.
I didn't hear you from my seat. You were good.
40 minutes on the clock. Caroline Weir, she finds Athena Del Castillo. She cuts it back for Angadal. But Daphne von Donselaar saves, and Casida's rebound. I don't know what she was doing, because she took a touch instead of just hitting it first time. But anyway, Linda Casido's effort was saved by Daphne von Donselaar, and the offside flag was raised. It's actually more impressive if you go back to replay it on the close angle. She saved it with her head.
Hey, if you can't get your hands to it, can't get your feet to it, can't get the body block in, use the noggin. You know that. Come on, goalkeepers, wakey.
Yeah, but there's a difference between Stina Blackstenius smashing it like from 2 yards into the goalkeeper's head and just putting in anything on it to save it.
Yeah, no, Linda. I think with Caicedo, she just hesitated and took one touch too many, and that's why it went wrong because it gave Daphne time to sort it out. But that double save was supreme.
Even though it was offside, but it all
Oh, it doesn't make a
helps.
difference to me. The point is the ball didn't go in the net.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Especially after Liverpool, it's nice to see her back on top form.
So Arsenal's only shot in the first half was actually Chloe Kelly's flick in the 30th, which was off a deflected shot of Alessia Russo's shot. When you get to the half time, you look at the stats, only 2 shots between both teams, one of them being Kelly's effort. It wasn't a real, shall we say, we didn't really see much entertainment.
No, it was just like, how is this ball not going in the back of the net at the clock end? That's all it was. Like from where we were sitting, it was a scramble of bodies. You watch back the replays and like I think it was it might have been Frida, I don't know, but the ball comes in across the box, it bounces off the post and goes wide, and you just can't work out like what's going on. It's not exactly on target, but you're rattling the metalwork, and it's just not happening, or it's going over. That's our favourite thing at the moment. Is we're playing rugby.
Yeah.
But no, I could have sworn we had 5 shots.
5 shots, only one of them on target.
Yeah, one of them on target. Yeah, sorry, I thought I had 2. I'm going mad.
No, 2 shots on target for both teams. So Madrid had one, Arsenal had one.
My bad. Yeah, no, to have and I think to have 5 shots and have one on target, that's really quite poor for us, especially after Liverpool. I know Jasmine Matthews helped out a lot, but come on.
Well, I don't know what to say really. At half time, you're just looking at. I think speaking to Miles, there was an exception that they wanted to bring on about 4 players to get it going. I was just like, there's only one change you could probably bring on, and that would be taking Marnham off for Kyra Cross to get those legs in the midfield and bring Mariona.
I think forward. The better choice would have been Leovolti over Kyra in this particular game. Although we've seen Kyra come on leaps and bounds, it's the experience that is needed with the players. When you look at the Real Madrid shirts, team sheets, it's you've got the likes of Caroline Weir in the middle.
Yeah,
like Kyra's not going to have a chance against Caroline Weir. Not a chance. She might outsmart her a few times, but Caroline's been around for years. We know the quality of player that Kyra be coming up against.
Watching her play was, it's hard. It's not quite Kim Little. Wow, it's a wow in her own way because you don't recognise what she does, but she is very, very technical on the ball. Caroline Weir.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, this is the first time I've actually physically watched her live, and she's very much operates like. Sometimes Mariona does. I'm gonna do the comparison. Mariona, the way that Mariona operates, she doesn't always have that star at a game like she did at Real Madrid. She doesn't like losing to Real Madrid. She's lost once. She's never doing it again. Let's just make that note. You have games like Real Madrid with Mariona, and then you'll have quieter games where she's present, but she's not doing all the major things and the highlights and everything else. And that is exactly what Caroline Weir had done. I mean, she got a brace coming off the bench in the game before this, and I'm sitting there going like, great, she's got a brace. She's coming for us. That's it. Game over. And obviously Atina and Linda Caicedo, they both scored in the home leg on the way through, and it, regardless of pitch conditions, we didn't look good. We just didn't. I'm not blaming the pitch. I'm blaming. Well, it's a mix of both, but I'm just glad to have our girls off that pitch in one piece, which I'm sure we all are. But yeah, no, she doesn't always be in the spotlight, but her puppet mastery, sublime. That's the best way I can describe it.
I think that's the best way to do it, because she is such a good orchestrator of the ball, and it makes you wonder how Scotland only managed to get to one World Cup, and I think it was one European Championship with them both playing in that midfield, because they are that talented that they could, if you had them in that England midfield, they would I think England would have probably been spoiled for choice. But who else they would have probably put in there? You probably put in a Jill Scott behind her.
Leo's not going to be happy with you.
No,
You better
I know. I'm
apologise.
sorry. I'm sorry to all our Netherlands fans and Dutchies. That was a slip of the tongue from me.
Yeah,
But
that's all right.
was there anyone that really you would have thought would have been brought on at half time just to sort of make that change?
Do you know what? I was just sitting there, like, I was really tired. I was sitting there like, Renee, you better dig deep and find one of your speeches, or Leah Williamson. I don't know if you remember the Liam Williamson speech. They needed that. They needed a kick up the backside, and let's just say we got it.
Yeah, I don't think we were all ready for it. That's what probably surprised.
That's football. Like, doesn't matter if you're ready or not. It's football.
You know what really annoys me? What one of my pets hates is you'll get people that will go before half time, and then they'll come back like 10 minutes later into the second half. And if you'd had been on the concourse when the goal comes in, this is 42 seconds after the restart. Alessia Russo scores. If you're on the concourse and you've missed that, that is something that you can never live. You're going to always let be like, oh, I wish I hadn't have done this, and this, because I've missed out on this. Okay, it did get better, but just on the goal itself. So Caitlin Ford is allowed to run through dancing past 3 challenges before playing the pass to Chloe Kelly, who's on the far right. Kelly's cross that was then met by a sliding, I think sliding volley, I think is the best way I can describe it, and it goes into the back of the net. Game on.
Absolutely. I think the first thing I screened was game on before I got my snaps out. I got some really brilliant goal celebrations from that. But I was kind of in that moment, and I thought, oh no, I want to take some more pictures. But watching it back, you watch the cross come in, and then it kind of bounces and then comes to Leslie, and it's just perfect timing. Keeper had absolutely no chance to react or even grab the ball, which is what we've got Alessia for, and it's what we've needed for a very, very, very long time. Although she's been quiet on the WSL front, she's been scoring left, right, and centre of the Champions League. So it's not like she's not in form. It's more of when is the next goal coming.
Well, hopefully more of the same. But we got even more lucky. Lucky us, shall we say, in front of the North Bank. In front of the North Bank, 48 minutes on the clock. Leah Williamson doing what Leah Williamson does best, a trademark ball. And Chloe Kelly, first time cross again. And I thought at first it looked like it was a diving header. It wasn't. She just launches her head forward, Mariona, and gets on the end of it. 2-2 on the night. And it just looked like the Gunners were back ready to, well, not ready. They were in the mood to score every time they came forward.
You watch the replays for this, and the ball was actually intended for Leslie, and it completely missed her. And Mariona was in the right place at the right time, and she's scored many goals against Real Madrid. So it's just another one to the tally, but in a different set of colours. So it was just sublime timing from her, and it was just like it was a roar of the stadium. Even though it was only 22,000, it was all felt. It was like game on, we're in this, let's go. So I don't know about you, but I was just like, right, we've got this, we're gonna do it. And especially with 40 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, yeah, 48 minutes on the clock when the goal goes in.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
one
I
of
said,
those
sorry.
where you kind of, when you look at the celebrations afterwards as well, you know that Mariona kind of, well, not kind of, you saw it in her face that she loved it. She loved that ball
I know
hit the
she
back
did.
of the net.
I did. She did. I mean, I even caught her celebrating Makodi. Sorry, Leia Codina. On the sideline, like the passion from the pair of them, even though Leia wasn't playing, the passion just to score a goal against Real Madrid at the Emirates was just insane.
58 minutes on the clock. KCMK free kick over the. This is a training ground goal, and you can tell it's a training ground goal because of what happens. So KCMK floats over the free kick. Steph Catley heads into the path of Alessia Russo, who hits the roof of the net with the and just first time hits the shot and it hits the roof of the net 3-0, officially in front for the first time in the tie. And
Yeah,
it was a weird feeling because I think the way Steph Catley headed it down, it was right. It was good header in the right path. It was just I don't know what the Real Madrid defenders are doing because basically they both let it bounce between them and it's just fallen towards Alessia Russo and she's managed to get something on it.
it's that delayed reaction from the players that allows Leslie to pounce on the ball. Um, but Katie's cross into Steph and then it being headed down is a basic set piece, and like I love a set piece. um, it was just how do I put it? I don't know how to put it. My brain's gone blank again. God.
Is it like with the men where it's set piece sort of fever?
Yeah, our set pieces have come a long way from last season. It's no longer that Spurs feeling of going through the season with no set piece coach. Put it that way. That's the best way I can describe it, and it's just coming along so nicely now. And I feel like we're more of a team as well. It's like a team celebration, team goal. It's not just one person just going for it. Oh, fine, I'll do it myself. Although we love those moments when we desperately need them,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just a nice team goal.
And that set the tone for the second half, really. Go on to one of the most controversial moments of the night. 17 minutes on the clock. Chloe Kelly, Mariona, and then Chloe Kelly passes in to Mariona, and then Mariona plays it to Marnham. Marnham, I believe it's a cross because again, Alessia Russo is sliding in and it goes into the net, but it's not given for offside. And you go back on trying to watch the highlights because I wasn't able to watch the match properly. But it doesn't look like there's any offside or where the offside is.
She's not. Alessia Russo is not offside. I believe it was Chloe Kelly originally that was offside. That's where the movement started. But this is just people's talk. I haven't actually looked back, but some people have been blaming Chloe Kelly for being out on the wrong spot at the wrong time. Because you look at everybody else, they're all absolutely fine. It was just her that was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But it does happen. It was just a bit annoying because it was again another nice goal from Leslie, and she was just denied her hattie.
I know, and it gets even worse. As both you and Adam have got hat tricks that you can go, oh, I was there when so and so scored a hat trick. Never happened to me. Has
You
never
haven't got your
happened to
hattie
me.
yet. Oh dear.
And yeah, I was
All
like,
right, we'll try getting it on.
oh, got that. I've got the. We're going to get it this time. 88 minutes of the clock. Beth Mood with a lovely through ball. It's collected by Alessia Russo, and the ball's back in the net. But again, it's all for offside. Again, I've double checked this because because I've got the tablet, I can zoom in when I'm on YouTube, so you can see whereabouts she's not offside. When that ball is played, she is not offside. So I don't know where the offside's coming
This
from.
is again with this one is another inconsistency with VAR for me. I thought this year that they were going to be explaining their decisions.
Yes.
They haven't. And that's really annoyed me because I'm trying to work out where this offside came from. And I look at it and go, what are you lot calling?
Yeah. And I think the other thing as well with both those goals is you just get the explanation. You didn't even really get the explanation on the.
No, but even with the Premier League games at the moment for the men's, you get an explanation tweet on the screen. If it's inadequate, it's there for a split second and you don't notice it. But if it's a good explanation, they'll leave it on the screen so the fans can see.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good idea. But yeah, there was just no explanation to it. I need to watch it a couple more times and just see where this VAR team are getting that from.
Yeah, it does sort of spoil it as well, because that second half, that was where the game was really in its explosiveness. If this was if this was a movie, this was like the end of part 2, sort of like the end game, sort of last battle, where Chris Evans is calling Avengers Assemble, and but then it was frustrating because we didn't know what was going on. It would be nice. I don't know what's going to happen with the rules next season. I hope that they are going to explain it out and actually have those, because it gives you that clarity, and you can go, oh, okay, right. I can check it back when I get home, or I can check it when I'm coming back home from the game, to make sure that that definitely should be given. But the other thing is as well is the automated offsides. You don't see it.
No, I don't remember having any automated offsides through that game at all. It was always the Lioness.
Tells you everything. I don't think we had any offsides. Not apart from when there were goals. I don't remember anyone else being offside in the entire game.
No, it was mostly fouls the game was stopped for. And then obviously the Real Madrid players arguing with the ref.
No, I'm surprised the ref actually kept her cards in her pocket.
I'm surprised Katie didn't get a card. Don't even go there.
Well, there were a couple of times where I did get very, very annoyed at Miss Carmona, because of her antics.
Oh yeah, her antics with Steph were not on. I think Katie did absolutely brilliantly when she was coming up against Atina and Linda Caicedo when they were switching wings.
Yeah.
I think Atina Del Castillo got on my nerves that night. She was don't get me wrong, she's an absolutely brilliant player, but she was just everywhere. If the whistle was going off, she was there. It had to be something to do with her. So it was I'm quite proud of Katie for keeping a calm head.
Well, that was going to be the other thing, is that if Katie and Caitlin Ford got a yellow card, they would miss the game against Leon.
Yeah, we can't afford that.
I think the cards get reset now.
I think so. I'd have to double check it.
I think I'm not 100% sure.
Katie's already got a rest over the weekend already for Palace away. I don't need to give her more rest time. We need her for Leon. She's going to be nice and fresh for that.
See, that wasn't on the team news for this weekend's game, so I'm glad you mentioned it now. So
sorry.
But no,
we've kind of spoken about the last couple of pods, because she got a yellow card at is it Liverpool we played last in the league?
Yes.
Yeah, she got a card there because of Olivia Smith and her dramatics. And that's me being polite.
Sometimes though, when you're being hacked every 5 minutes and you're getting bruises at the end of games like that,
I understand that, but it was nothing to do with Katie in the first place. Katie was just trying to help her off, and she's basically telling her to leave her alone, and Katie should have just taken the hint instead of trying to get her up to stop her wasting time. So yeah, no, there's a whole debate on that whole subject.
The last action of the game, not really, but this is like the last key moment sort of thing. Rondondo's through ball for Linda Caicedo, whose shot is at Daphne van Donsela. But this game showed me that this was the moment where I've gone, right, she's got the number 1 shirt now. That is her Manu Zinsberger moment.
She's consolidated it after this game for me personally. I think I've said this most of the season. I'm gonna say it again. There's only so many other keepers you can see off. Manu's won 2 out of 3 fights. Daphne was always going to be the number one. We wanted her originally after the Euros. Villa got her. So we waited another season. And like, yeah, come to Arsenal. You can have Sabrina D'Angelo. That's it. And that was the end of it. Yeah, no, Mane is going to have to kind of settle for being the second option. Now, I'm afraid. We love you, Manu, but your game hasn't stepped up like it has with the previous two keepers that came in.
It's nothing personal against Manu. It's just when
Fact, unfortunately.
It's also, I think that Daphne's got youth on her side, whereas Manu is she's probably looking at it now. She might only have a couple of years left, depending on how she decides to go. So
exactly. I mean, it is. How do I put it?
We are
young forever, and everyone does leave their peak eventually. And Daphne's got a few years before she even gets to her peak, and she's already brilliant.
Yeah. So, Adam, if you are listening, yes, her time has finally come. Yes, she got her moment, and yes, she is finally going to get that number one shirt. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a Daphne change shirt numbers at the end of next season, because Manu's contract is up at the end of the season. So it's I think everyone's expecting her to leave due to nothing to do with the club or anything like that. It's more to do with personal things with family and things like that. So we do wish her the best, because she's given up some great times in an Arsenal shirt, and I think we can all be proud. I think she'll sit back and look at their Arsenal career and be proud of everything. Obviously, it's not gone her way with missing out on the title and things like that. But
she's had trophies. The trophy keeper, though.
Yeah.
Don't disregard the cup.
No, I think she will cherish the game against Wolverhampton. Against Chelsea in that cup final. I think she'll cherish that even more.
It's been my favourite cup final so far. I think even Chloe Lacasse will never forget that. She was so embarrassed.
And she can't let it down now. She's going to get stuck.
She can't. She's stuck with number 24.
So as we go into the weekend, then Arsenal take on Crystal Palace. That is at Sutton United's ground, which stadium name evades me at this moment in time.
Don't look at me. I just remember it as the plastic PVC ground with the kids watching out from outside the ground in the trees, and the goalkeeper eating a pie at halftime. So yeah, don't look at me.
I actually know Wayne Shaw. I do actually know Wayne Shaw. I was living in Southampton, but that's a story for off the pod, I think. But let's bring up the team news then. Palace will be will not have Hayley Nolan, Amy Everett, Catherine Via is potentially back for them, so that's good for them defensively. Lena Hertig, Leah Cadena, Lotta Wilbermoy, all unavailable for the match, and as you've now mentioned, no Casey McCabe actually suspended.
Katie Reid's time to shine, do you think?
Yes. I had to think about that for a second there. That was why I was pausing.
You had to think about which Katie I was referring to.
It's difficult because when you're coming, Tim Stillman makes this point that if you don't continuously play the best players, sometimes if they do have that break for a game, they're more likely to be at risk of injuries. So it's an interesting one, but at some point you need a break during the season. You can't not be playing. You can't keep continuously playing 90 minutes each.
No, you can't, because you're going to get player burnout. And that's when the mistakes come, and that's when the short fuses come, and that's when you get poor performances.
So I'm trying to. What would you expect from this game? Are you expecting it to be a very, very tight game with Palace? You're shaking your head there as to say no. Palace
I'm really not. if I'm honest with you, especially going on how our home game went. It's no disrespect to Palace because they've got some absolute talent in Anna Blanchard and Amy Everett, and you just the form we are in at the moment, I can see another scoreline like Meadow Park one.
6s and 7s, do you think?
More like 4s and 5s. Not that bad, but I feel really horrible because I've enjoyed watching Crystal Palace this season. But I think we're going to have a little bit of an easy game, but they will bring the game to us because we've had a couple of surprises out of Crystal Palace this season, and I have been fortunate enough to be watching those games. I've quite enjoyed them. Sorry about that. And then yeah, as I said, I've enjoyed watching them, but it's a possibility we might not get a clean sheet. It's a possibility, depending on that back four. But it's also a possibility we can keep a clean sheet as well, because even though we haven't got Katie, we'll probably have Steph, Leah Williamson, and I'm missing someone. My blind's gone blank.
Fox.
Emily Fox, that's it. Oh my god, that is terrible. I don't know what's going on with my
I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah,
as well.
I was like, who am I
missing?
Like, yeah, so I'm just looking at that back line with no Kate McCabe, and you could pair Leah Williamson with Amanda Illerstead. You could put Katie Reid in there, or you can push Katie Reid out to left, leave Steph in the centre back position. It's a big question mark on that left hand side for me at the minute. If I'm honest.
The other option would be that Emily Fox can play left back as well. So
yeah,
that is an option.
Yeah, we could switch sides because Katie normally plays on the right, doesn't she? So,
yes. So
yeah, that's probably going to be an option then. But I can see it being Leah and Katie this weekend.
So just on the relegation battle, because I think it was important to know that there's only 1 point in it between Aston Villa and Palace. That's now the relegation battle, with Leicester City are on 15 points after their win against Brighton at home last weekend. It's surprising to see that we're seeing Aston Villa without everything that's happened, isn't it?
It's really disappointing. I mean, it's just something's not clicking, something's not right, and the way that when Rachel Daly when she arrived, I backed them for Champions League, and I feel like I've cursed them since. But it's just all crumbling and falling down. There's just something that's not right at Aston Villa. Something behind closed doors. There's just something not right, and I thought of it for ages, and it's just like Palace have got a chance to stay up. They've actually got a chance to stay up, and it will be the first time in a long time since I've seen a team that's come up and stayed up.
The last team to do it was actually Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly, and they're still here. They're now a mid-table team.
Yeah.
Bit of a thorn in our side this season. Finally beat them at the Emirates for the first time. But I genuinely think Villa are going down. Their head coach turned out and said, "Of course we're scared." And I sat there and read that article, and I thought, I understand it, but if you've got that fear of being relegated after being up in top flight football for so long, why are you not doing anything about it? What is the key problem for them right now? Because the talent they've got, and the likes of Noel Marrett, Sarah Mayling, Rachel Daly, Jordan Nobbs, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I don't really like to do this, but there is like a theory on team dynamics and things like that. And there's like different stages that they're at, and it seems to be that they are still forming those partnerships. And but then you look at someone like Jordan Nobbs, who's played with Sabrina.
Season again, I'm going back to Rachel Daly.
Yeah.
Look at that first season. It clicked. It worked. What happened?
It could be a number of things. It could be the fact that certain coaches aren't there, or the way that it's a bit bizarre as well, because you look at Carla Ward, who's now at Ireland's national team, Republic of Ireland, and she's not had a great start either. So could it be possible that Carla Ward left at the right time because she had a feeling that this was going to happen?
Possibly, but there was a thing of player burnout. You don't see much rotation in that side, so that could be a key factor as well. But I think instead of watching the title race, I'm watching the relegation fight and the battle for second at the moment, because it's between us and Man United. Man United basically guaranteed Champions League football unless they dramatically drop 7 points somehow.
Well, they've got 3 games against Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City all at the end of the season.
So it's possible for them to drop 7 points. So, and City to slot into that third space. But we've played all the big girls. Let's just say big girls, the big teams. We don't have to worry about that. But we've still got a tough ride. There's a few teams in that list that you think it can go either way on those fixtures. But they're the battles I want to be watching. Like even the battle for, I think, fourth.
Yeah.
No, it is fifth. Liverpool and Brighton. There's a point in it. Like there's healthy competition in there of where people are going to finish at the end of the season. And with Brighton and Liverpool, they still got to play each other.
Yeah.
I think it's at Brighton's ground. I can't remember off the top of my head. And it's the individual battles that you're looking at, and you look at the table and think, okay, fine, Chelsea 11 points clear. No one really cares unless you're a Chelsea fan. But it's the rest of the table you're looking at, and you can see what moves there could possibly be. And I think the one for me to watch is going to be Crystal Palace. They're going to be the one.
I'll just give them both the next lot of fixtures. So Arsenal, Palace this weekend, Villa, Liverpool. Next week, the weekend that the games restart. Aston Villa, Tottenham, and Palace play Chelsea. Then have Aston Villa at Villa Park for Arsenal, and I'm trying to find Palace are at home to West Ham. Palace then take on Leicester at home before Villa take on West Ham away. Last game of the season, you have Man City against Man City, Palace, and Aston Villa have Brighton. So even then, you look at it both and you just go, if Palace are to do something, they're going to have to beat one of the top teams and probably get something maybe against West Ham to guarantee they go up. I'm looking at Villa. I don't see any real game where they can pick up points, which is a surprise for me considering how star-studded that squad is.
Oh no, absolutely. I think the only game that's probably possible for them to pick up points is Spurs. Unless Beth England's back, then they're in trouble. West Ham are in fine form. We are. Liverpool are looking to get that spark back after what happened with us. And then Brighton, they're not going to roll over to just anybody. They're a different animal this year. So it's still a tough road for Aston Villa. And I just don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I honestly think Palace is going to stay.
I think we're all in the same mind. I think no one can see where Villa's next goal is coming from, let alone next win.
Yeah, or the next point, even if it's just one.
Yeah.
I mean, Leicester haven't been amazing this season, but they've got their points to be safe. So when needed, and I think for Villa, unfortunately, they're going to be the ones that take the points off them to make sure they're definitely safe.
Well, you've sort of already said about the score lines. You think it's going to be 4 or 5. I'm going to be a bit more more conservative. I think is the best way to split it up. I think it will be 2-1 win to Arsenal.
No clean sheet. You want to take my fantasy football points away?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think for everything that Palace have done so far, it's a bit different to how Bristol City have come up. They've actually been really good, and they've managed to play, even if they're not winning games, they're making sure it's such a fine margin that they're losing by, and it's those fine margins that will tell you the difference when it comes to the end of the season, whether even if you stay up or even if you get relegated and you say, right, we only lost 1-0, but it's still a huge milestone for them. I think the worst things that is possible is when teams come up, you're losing games 5-6-0 to some of the better WSL sides. But I'm looking forward to Sunday's game. It's 2:00 kickoff on YouTube. Are you looking?
I am looking forward to it, but it's also Mother's Day, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it.
See, that's the beauty of it, having it on YouTube, is you can always watch it back later.
Yeah, but if I've seen the score, I'm not going to watch it back. That's just me. Sorry. I watch the highlights, but I won't. Yeah. We'll see if I can get to watch it. We'll see. More than likely, though.
We should also say happy Mother's Day to everyone on Sunday as well. But where can the lovely people find you?
They can find the podcast at VAW Pod on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky. You can find me at Lottie _AWFC. I'm now back on Twitter. I will occasionally post my photos, but not too often because bigger accounts are claiming that they're their photos, which was interesting. And then you can find me on all my match day photos, especially Champions League ones. I've got some really good ones, so go check them out. Lottie _AWC on Instagram.
And you can find Adam at the AW Archive, as well as at Adam Salter 4. He's also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at MattLR28 on Twitter, or you can follow me on Substack, and that's just Matt Loma Roberts. I will make sure to spell that out for you because people don't know how to spell that. It's LORRIMER.
It is going to be in the description below.
Yeah,
guys.
I will make sure to do that. Until next time, come on, you Gunners.